I would like to welcome our new music director, Roger Kalia.
Hey. Oh, hey everyone. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you. So honored and so grateful to be here with you tonight. Still remember 2022, conducting I got 1 month's notice to conduct a full program, and it's still one of my fondest memories, hearing the applause, hearing the musicians give their all during the Dvorak 8th Symphony. And now here we are. It's unbelievable that I get to lead this wonderful organization, working with Sammy and our board to celebrate our 100th anniversary season. Not many orchestras can say that. And of course, when putting this program together, there was a lot of thinking that went into this, because it is our 100th anniversary, and it's my first concert as an official part of this organization, as music director. One of the big things I wanted to do on this program was celebrate the past with the present, looking ahead to the future. So there are two parts to that in looking ahead to the future. The first was our composer in residence, Dan Powers. Many of you know Dan. Dan composed a piece specifically for this concert called Centennial Celebration that celebrates the 100th anniversary of the orchestra. It's a fanfare, it's about 4 minutes, and it really highlights the brass in particular of the orchestra. The second thing, looking ahead to the future, was a piece that is somewhat maybe unusual for a symphony orchestra. A concerto for Indian tabla. And the tabla is a percussion instrument that has become very known in Indian classical music. There is no connection between Indian classical musicians and symphony musicians. And Sandeep will tell you more about this, our guest artist. But I really also wanted to celebrate my Indian heritage. My father is from India, from New Delhi. So I thought it could be neat to highlight this piece of music, which I've grown so fond of over the years. I've conducted it all over, and it's really been a very, very special piece to me. And the last part of this program was a piece that I truly love. I wanted to do something that I feel comfortable with, something I really love, and that's Gustav Mahler. Specifically, the first symphony, the Titan, it's called. So we came up with this creative name, Tabla and Titan. I think Sammy came up with that. Where is Sammy? I don't know where, but Sammy, thank you for that title. Gustav Mahler is, one of the great composers in the sense that he wrote for one of the biggest orchestras during his lifetime. And there are going to be 8 horns on stage, 4 trumpets, 3 trombones, tuba, double timpani. It's a really incredible piece of music. And I could go on and on about that, but I do want to introduce to you one of the most remarkable musicians I've ever worked with. He's a dear friend. I got to know him in New Hampshire, out of all places, when we did this piece in 2023, I believe it was. And Sandeep Das has won a Grammy. He's performed with Yo-Yo Ma. He is an incredible virtuoso of the tabla. He's one of the leading players of his generation. And he's also just a really wonderful human being. Please welcome Sandeep Das. Hey, friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'll give you a big introduction.
Thank you for those amazing words, Richard. Will you share that with my wife in an email, please?
He didn't even pay me for it. Oh, well, welcome to Terre, Haute.
Thank you.
And we've been having so much fun. We've had 2 rehearsals, and the orchestra is really starting to come alive in the sense that they've never played a tabla concerto, many of our musicians, so this was completely new to them. Before we get into the piece, Sandeep, let's talk a little bit about your musical background, and if you don't mind sharing how you became interested in music and where you're from and so on, that'd be great.
Sure, thank you so much. Thanks for the nice welcome, and all I can say, the last 2 days have been filled with so much love and affection that I've gotten from Sammy, Angela, Barbara, Carolyn, and Jean, everyone, that I almost, I told my wife that I might even move to Terre Haute.
Yeah.
It's been incredible.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like.
I got very lucky. I had a very smart father who received a complaint from school. I used to go to a Jesuit school called St. Xavier's, and the father principal actually was from the US. He called my father and complained that I've been disturbing the class. by tapping on the desk, which I'm sure none of you ever did. And when asked to stop, I tap with my feet. I should be taken to a doctor. Instead of getting mad at me when I came back from school, there was a pair of drums on the coffee table, and I looked at those and I said, "What is that, Dad?" And he said, "That's your tabla and your lessons start tonight."
Wow.
So that's how it started, but then within a year, he realized that I had something in me, and he started chasing someone that you might say the Yo-Yo Ma of tabla playing, or the Michael Jackson of tabla playing, or whoever your star is. So my father chased one of the most legendary tabla players for almost a year while I was learning from this other guru. Then once he was able to secure an appointment, I was taken to him. He listened to me. He did a little test. And then at the end of the test, he said, "This kid has tabla in his blood. Leave him here." So with that, my father was surprised. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And so there is a tradition in India called the Guru Sishya Parampara, which actually I'll share with you all. That till date, any good Indian classical music that you have ever heard of, from Ravi Shankar to the newest kid, we have all come from this tradition where you go and live with your guru, like almost like a Shaolin camp, you know, like you live with the guru where there are no schedules, no timetables. Most of the times my lessons were not even when I was around my instrument. So that's how I learned, by living at his house for 12 years, cleaning his car, working in the garden, taking care of his horses. A lot of the time I would wonder, why am I even here? You know?
Right.
Especially in my teens, you know, I was like,
right.
wow, have I come here to become a gardener? But believe me, with every passing day, every single thing that he taught me, which seemed to have no connection with my instrument, is actually the diamond that I have in my pocket, that I produce. Even without even knowing that I have those diamonds, those things come out. And that's why I have had a career of traveling around the world, playing professionally now for 31 years.
Wow, wow, thank you. Sandeep, when was the first time? When was the first time you came to this country?
My first concert.
How did that happen? with an orchestra in particular. I'm
So
curious.
the first time I played in the US is 1990.
Okay.
From 1990 till 2000, I would come and play Indian classical concerts. Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, Kennedy Center. But I would actually turn off Western classical music that would be piped on radios in hotels, you know, before internet and before Wi-Fi's. That's what you would hear. I would actually turn it off. Year 2000, I would say, was another very pivotal, important milestone in my life when I got a letter, snail mail, to India saying someone called Yo-Yo Ma.
What?
So like some Yo-Yo Ma had written saying, I want you to come play 4 world premiere concerts with the New York Philharmonic. I didn't know who.
I think everyone's familiar with Yo-Yo, the great cellist, of course. This is who, just to remind everyone.
So I didn't know who he was. I barely knew New York Philharmonic because I had played at the Lincoln Center. I purely said yes because the check that they were offering was pretty good. I was like, yeah, they're paying me well, I might as well go. So that's how I was introduced to a world of music completely different from what I had been trained. And it's been 23 years almost now. No, or 25 years
25,
now. 25 years now that I have been and known Yo-Yo Ma and played with some of the biggest and finest orchestras. And he, so far in my life, I consider him to be the greatest human being that I have met.
And he already told me, Roger, we're so close that if you want Yo-Yo Ma to come to Terre, Haute, we're going to make that happen. So I'm taking you up on that offer. I'm taking him up on that offer.
You know why I made that offer?
Holding him to it.
Why I made that offer? Because I felt you and Sammy and the entire board, you know, I met Barbara, I met Carolyn. You have the right team here. And it's getting a time from him is the only thing, you know, so you have to plan 6 to 7 years in advance.
Yes.
But yes, I have felt it. And I promise you that if you guys start planning it, I will do everything to connect you to the right person to make it happen.
Well, and he is, yeah, thank you. He isn't, he did not mention that Sandeep and Yo-Yo are working on a piece together that they're going to commission and perform with Orchestra. So not only will we get Yo-Yo, we would get you as well, which is, you are gonna, you're coming too.
You can decide that tonight if you want me. Don't commit to it. You haven't heard me yet. So.
Tell us a little bit, I don't know how familiar everyone is with the tabla and the history and what it sounds like. And Sandeep will give a brief background or tutorial right before we perform the piece, but maybe in your own words, give a sense of what this instrument is and how special it is to you.
So, compared to Indian music history, it's a baby. The history is only 700 years old. So, yeah, it's like a really baby for Indian classical music. It's 2 pair of drums played with the fingers, and if you learn from the right guru, this drum speaks. And I will give you a quick demo. If you learn well, as I have played with the legends of Indian classical music. I play with Yo-Yo Ma, I've played with the biggest orchestras, rap musicians, jazz music. Like I travel to China and play with musicians there. It's a very versatile drum, but the amazingness is in 31 years of playing this instrument, I'm yet to come across any percussion playing from anywhere in the world that has even so much repertoire. We don't just play grooves. There are fixed compositions talking about rain, thunder, lightning. There are compositions talking about gods, goddesses. There are compositions that have different families. There's improvisation that I can actually play the very first lesson that I learned as a 6-year-old kid. I can play a solo without repeating myself even once easily for a couple of hours. And so the possibility of improvisation is infinite. The possibility of taking what you have been taught and being able to collaborate and play with any and every kind of music is amazing. It turns into a melody instrument, it's a groove instrument, and it can just be a very fun instrument. So I'm very lucky.
Yeah, and this piece of music you're going to hear tonight, it's in 3 movements. It's about 28 minutes, and each movement gives a different emotional feeling, if you will. I'd say the first movement is very much cinematic. It's like movie music. It really is energetic. It's fast-paced. The second movement is like a very a moving expression, with a lot of expression, like you're taking a nap, except you're being woken up by incense in the air, the candles. It has this almost, this isn't technical, but this snake charm type of sound. And the harmonies are very, if you will, not what you would normally find in Western classical music. And I think the third movement builds and grows. It starts very softly, it starts very calmly, and before you know it, 10 minutes later, everyone feels like they're dancing and having a great time. It builds and builds, it gets faster, the tempo, and before you know it, you are improvising over all of this. His score is different. It's not notated as a Western instrument, Western classical notation. His notation is completely different. So when we start and rehearse, I always have to sing, we're gonna start in this spot. It's not like, all right, rehearsal 5, orchestra. He goes to me, where the heck is that, Roger? I have no idea where this is in the piece. So I think in many ways, talk a little bit about the notation and how it's different.
So we don't have any concept of reading and playing music. So everything I learned for 12 years was taught to me orally, and it's sitting with me right now here. Every single thing that I memorized first. Stuff that I wrote down first, most of it I have forgotten. Let me quickly share. The first time I came over to play with the New York Phil, my first shock was, whoa, why are there so many people on stage?
Great story. This is a great story.
Then a woman came and put a metal something in front of me, and I said, what is that? She said, that's a music stand. Before I could respond to that, another woman came and put some pieces of paper in front of me, and I said, what are those? And she said, that's your music. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, yeah, but that's blocking my view. So there was shock in the room. Then I said, well, I can't read music. So they were shocked that they had flown someone all the way from India to play with the New York Phil who can't read music. And that's when I raised my hand and I said, well, if you guys play it, I'll memorize it. Number one, I didn't know you don't tell the New York Phil when to play. Number two, the piece was 30 minutes long. But that's the kind of training. So we also do have a system of writing things down, which I'm really bad at because my guru didn't encourage writing things down. So there is a system that you can write things down, and literally like the West, if you're someone who knows how to read it, you know what to do with it. But the whole goal is a guru's job is not to teach you how to play anything. A guru's job in Indian classical music is to just give you the tools, the material in your garage, that as the need arises, you are able to keep pulling things out, and you're never stuck that, oh, I know how to build a bridge, but I don't know how to build a space shuttle, for example. So you constantly keep building. So what I have trained in myself now, that I'm kind of faking it. So I've made my own score. No, I've taken the score written by Dinuk, but I asked him for an audio. So I will ask my composer for an MP3, and I will listen to it, and I start making my own score. So like you will see a volcano. So like that's where that's what I'm feeling. You will see birds on my things, like, oh, fly, soar. So kind of sketches, milestones, and some tricks that I've learned from my colleagues from the Western classical world of drawing eyes and an arrow, pay attention, pay attention. So it's a combination of all those tricks, and mostly I have memorized the piece. So, but because I'm not reading it note by note, even if I play the same piece every night, it will sound different.
It's always different, yeah. And there are moments where we have to connect and make sure we're on the same page. So I give a big left-hand cue to make sure we line up correctly. And then, what's interesting about this piece are there are vamps. Vamps meaning it repeats. So say it's a 4-bar vamp. So you'll see me do this to the orchestra. 1, 2, 3, because orchestras typically don't play vamps unless you're in musicals or doing a jazz improvisation. So a lot of my job is not only artistic, but being a traffic cop. I mean, really, we have to make sure we're connected. And thank God there's good monitors that we own, because his sound wouldn't be possible to hear without him being amplified and mic'd. The tabla drum is not loud enough. So you're going to hear him mic'd on with, and not overdoing it. Hopefully the balance will be very clear between the orchestra and him. And you also vocalize in the last movement. He vocalizes what he plays. So I find this so amazing and virtuosic, and the orchestra was so impressed by your brilliance and the virtuosity you brought to this.
I will return the compliment. I have played this piece all around the world, from Australia to Africa to Europe. Without doubt, yesterday night, I sent a text. It's on my phone. Anyone who doesn't believe me can see it. I texted the composer and I said, Roger is conducting this piece the best of every conductor. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
And the orchestra you have here, I heard that there is a mix of student musicians and senior professional musicians.
Yeah.
I must say that I have had 2 of the best rehearsals of this piece with any orchestra in the world. So
thank you.
Yes, compliments to you.
Hopefully you will. I'm not going to say hopefully. You are going to love this. And if you have an opportunity after the concert, there's going to be a meet and greet in the McKee Heritage Lounge right there, I believe. Yeah, and take the time to meet Sandeep. Get to know him. I'd love to meet many of you as well. I know many of you now, but this is my 4th time conducting this fine orchestra, and what an honor it is to be here making music with one of my great friends in music, and wonderful human being. He's always asking, I'm a new father, so I have an 11-week-old, so and baby boy, so I've been sending him photos nonstop, and I just want to say this is going to be a fantastic evening. So great to see so many of you, and do tell your friends and family. I know many of you are passionate supporters of the Terre, Haute Symphony, but this year especially, it's our 100th anniversary, and there's so much to look forward to. So enjoy, everybody. Sandeep Das.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.